Okay, if you follow the channel, you probably realized that it snowed here in Oklahoma this week. And today, it's moderately chilly in the shop. So, yeah. I honestly believe that every time I start her up, she seems to run a little bit better than the last time. I know I'm fooling myself with that, but maybe I'm right. What, pray tell, is this? I'll tell you what it is. It's poly bushing sailing. I saw this underneath the truck earlier when I was changing the tire and getting to the fuel filter. Changing the tire. I was removing the tire and getting to the fuel filter. But I can't see it. I'll check it out in a minute. But yeah, the polys in the back on the control arms for the rear axle are toast. So we're going back with rubber. I'm not doing poly anymore because of that. So yeah, that's out. Okay, what are we gonna do today? Well, I think we ought to do something fun today. Let's see if our work paid off. Let's put our panel, let's dry fit it in the back of the Range Rover. Let's see if she fits, Bob. Why am I always picking on Bob? I had an Uncle Bob, he was awesome. Actually, I had two Uncle Bobs. One on the Boydston side of the family, and this is not Boydston to me, but Johnson side of my family. And one on the Stevens side of the family. Okay, here we go. Okay, fat guy dry fitting his tailgate. Ready, go. Uh-oh, careful, dumbass. It's upside down.
I am the smartest man.
Careful, dumbass. Right side up, yay! Good news is my welds didn't pop off when I did that. There we go. Fitting, sort of. And the Golden Globe for best editing goes to... Get up in there. So close. Alright. Super close, super tight fit. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. Oh, damn. Come on. Hey, there we are. Now we're up over the lip. I'm gonna find out why this isn't fitting on this side. One side's not fitting, one or the other. Woo! Must be something obvious keeping that from happening, and I'm not doing it. Okay, we're kind of close, but it's not fitting exactly right. I think we're good in the back. I think we're good back here, because that down and it doesn't go anywhere. And this down and it doesn't go anywhere. But up front, got a little bit of a gappage here. What's going on over there? Let's go check the other side. Without a jig to make sure that was straight, I probably should have built that differently. Let's get some trash out of the way so we can get to the door. What's going on? Okay, so I'm up on this ridge right here. Oh, look. Okay, so I probably ought to manipulate that with a saw or a hammer. Not sure if my hand is hammer enough. Hey, it was hammer enough. Good job, Eric. Okay. One step for man, one step for mankind. Hey kids, that fits. Still gonna have some water egress in here though. That's gonna have water coming up like this. Promise it will. So that's gonna be seam sealed at some point. All right, so I've got some hardware here that has to be cut around as well, so I can still keep the seats. There's a lot of stuff. So there's a couple of bolts on each end, and then there's some over there too. So we'll have to come in here and we're gonna mitigate those with some sogging. So let's go get a marker. Hopefully it's not frozen. Marker. So we got to mark our stuff somewhere in here. We need to cut that part out back to at least that circle. Carpet, I think, but I'm going to cut it out anyway. Back to the end of the circle. This one's going to be cut back into the circle. I don't remember what that one is, but it's going to get cut back. All right, let's go over to the other side. A little surprised. That's all there is over here. Measure once, cut twice, I always say. Okay, let's get this bad boy out of here and get some adjusting done. Okay, I had to go on a little side quest. I'm out of kerosene fuel, so I'm just gonna try to heat the shop a little bit. I know the garage door is open, but I need a place to put my hands when it's cold, so. Side quest complete. Okay, so here's what we're gonna cut out. And I missed one, so this is a new one. So I didn't see the bolt hole underneath that was there. So those are what we're gonna cut out now. I'm gonna put hearing protection on because it hurt last time. Okay. Gosh, that's so much more pleasant when I wear hearing protection. What is wrong with me? I should wear that every time. You notice these kinds of things when you go to a restaurant and the waiter looks at you and goes, and you didn't hear a word they said. All right. All right. Okay, we've got it cut out. We've got it ready. I think the next step is to put it in the truck. And that's not the next step. You know, it's not the next step. I was just kidding. The next step is to get the braces welded on. And here's one. And there's the strap that goes across the back. And then the other one is, yeah, that's right. That's on the brake lines attached to it. This is not going to be any fun, boys and girls. So we got a strap there, and it's attaching the 2 brake lines to the rear of the vehicle. And I can't pull this out to weld it because, oh look, it's stuck. So, damn it. It's also got a wire running across it. Remember where that one. So those are going to be, we also have wires for the traction controls run underneath there somewhere. There's some more wire loom for that. Fun. That we know doesn't work. Okay, so what are we going to do? We could cut this across here and then weld it back. That's probably the least evasive method, because if I pop these brake hoses off, I have to bleed the brake system, which means I need to back this into a spot where it's going to be, or use the emergency brake to stop the vehicle. Either way, it's going to be not super fun. The smart thing to do, break the brake lines loose and then deal with the consequences of bleeding brakes in the shop in the winter. Okay, let's do it. We're going to break those brake lines loose and then we'll go to town on it. All right, let's get the video stopped so we can get tools and everything ready. Okay, this is a weird deal. Okay, so that is a 15 for the outer and an 11 millimeter for the brake line. One of the rare uses of 11 on this vehicle, so I thought it was something important to mention. So everybody says, you know, if you touch your vehicle with a tool, you should have one in your spares kit. So having an 11, this is a dual 10-11, having one of these on board, you might need it for a brake line maybe, but if you got a pair of vice grips, you don't need it. So, all right, let's get this done. We're going to spray it with some blaster first. We're gonna let that sit.
Few moments later.
Nope. Come on, brake line. All right, I'm Wondering if I can make that turn without screwing that up real bad. So, I can't remember how this is done. I did this once before and I was underneath it when I did it, so I'm not looking at the bottom like I should be. Okay, the trouble is if I spin this, it's gonna kink and twirl this brake line all the way around. Now these are braided brake lines. They're pretty old. I don't remember when I put them on, probably close to 15 years ago. So I think I can go all the way around with them without damaging them, but if I damage them, then I'm stuck and I have to buy new ones. Thankfully I have the budget for that, but I don't want to spend it if I don't have to. I don't remember how many turns it is to get them off, so. See what it's doing there? See that? See that? See that? Lots of rust on that. Man, that's a lot of rust on there. I'm gonna get these broke loose. I'll put two sets of PB Blaster on it. Come on! Jesus! Nope. Jiminy Christmas. Them's rusted. Them's corroded in place, kids. Alright, we'll try that one more time, but that's about all we're going to be able to do. If it doesn't pop, we're in trouble. We'll have to stop and figure out if we have to remove the hard lines. And then come back and do this. Okay, that's what we're doing. I'm staring at it a lot. Sorry, you're not getting a lot of content out of that. Okay, this is a debacle. Let's use the word debacle. All right, so if I can't get these to turn, all of them haven't broken loose. So all of these are, some of them are so corroded I can't get them to turn. So I did get this one broke loose, but all it's doing is binding the hose. So not remembering how to do this the last time and the condition of where it's at and everything, I'm going to go ahead and cut across here and just cut the bracket off of the support beam that I need to be using over there in the weld. So it's got four welds on it, 1, 2, 3, and 4, but I can't drill them out because one of them is above this pipe and I don't want to cut the pipe over here. I don't want to cut it, so we're just going to go ahead and then I'll just cut it. So, okay, this may seem a little excessive, but I'm not ready for a full brake job again. I can't restore the brakes in addition to doing all of this. So this is just to get the bottom of the truck completed, and then I'll come back. I know I'm going to have to put now on my list of things to do brake line maintenance and replacement. I did crack these lines. I will have to bleed them again, but I'm not ready to dump a few $100s into brake hoses right now. So that's why we're going to cut it. We're going to use a cutter and we'll cut it off, then we'll re-tack it back, weld back in place, and then we'll call that fair for right this minute. But that's what we're going to do. The goal here is to not let the the grinder fly off and damage anything. So that's the trick to all of this. All right, I got my goggles on, I got my face shield on, so we'll go with don't damage your eyeballs and lose your hearing. So at least I'll be able to see. So victory is ours. Victory is ours. We have not cut a brake line. Yeah, yes. Okay, it's starting to come to me how this was put together before. Let's take a look at it. So you got the back side there with big bolts, big nuts there. See that? So there's some way to do this where that'll spin around so you can undo these brake lines. I don't remember how I did it. Probably just doing this, getting this loose, and then letting that brake line spin inside this piece by breaking it loose here too. So you can spin this and do this like that. All right. So if I had moved this back into the back of the shop and spent a lot more time on it, I could have sorted that out and remembered how I did it. But that's okay. We'll put it back together. It'll be all right. It's all going to be good in the end. All right, let's get this brakes out and take a look at the freaking rust already starting on it. Okay, we're going to have to fix this. I drilled through this before, so this is hammered out. I mean, pow, you know, punched through, got hot, all that. So we'll have to get a hammer on this and make those flat again before we attempt to do any welding per se. And then the rust, all that rust has to come off again. But I have no way to paint it without putting it in the shop and painting it, or excuse me, putting it in the house. And Mrs. Okierover takes a dim view of the paint smells when I paint in the house. So that may have to just sit there and rust a little more. Let's get the hammer out, bang on it, and see what happens. Okay, I'm already starting to see a problem here of how I've set my shop up. I got this right next to this, and that limits the use of the anvil portion of my vise, so that's sad and disappointing, all in the same part of a different project. I'm gonna put that over here, get it out of the way. All right. Okay, everybody's nice and flat now. Nice and flat across there. Nice. Very satisfying too. All right. Okay, this is the layout of how the braces need to go on the back of the truck. Let's start with the strap. The strap obviously had a bend in it that had it fitting what the original rail was, the original bed here. So putting that down and matching it up flat is not going to be too terrible. This is not going to be terrible bad. And if this, as long as it fits in between the rail, we're okay. So in other words, inside the truck, as long as that fits underneath here, as long as that fits underneath here, we're all good. So there's, see, that'll pass through it. So I'm pretty confident that's going to be okay wherever I mount it. So not worried about that one as much as the other ones. So let's look at the other ones. All right, these are a little more complicated. All right, problems. We see all the way through. See all the way through. See all the way through. Where I drilled through and didn't drill the welds, I have no place to weld to. So no way to weld that up. Yeah, that's great, right? So I've drilled through every one of my holes, so I don't have anything there to weld this strap to. There's nothing to support this being attached to this. That's gonna take some thinking on. And then here's the other end. The edge, which was underneath the truck, didn't have my lovely redesign on it. So I'm either gonna have to cut those completely off, even with this, so that they pass through the truck, or I have to figure out a way to weld this to the bed, which I don't remember. Bed, pointing over there, dummy. I'm not sure if those were, I remember cutting through them, but I don't remember if they were welded. So I don't know on that one. All right, same thing on the back one. Bummer. Don't have anything to weld to. Don't think you have any weld tos. No weld tos. So short of fixing all these somehow, so I have a way to weld this through this. Gosh, where's your finger? Let's start over. Okay, short of fixing all of these holes, we're fixing all of these holes. One of these holes have to be fixed, so I have something to weld to. So can I put a strap on this and then weld this to it? I mean, I have plenty of steel. It's not an issue of whether I have enough metal to do that. I just don't want to do plugs for these. That's a lot of plugging. And then I'd have questionable, due to my questionable welding skills, whether those are actually good pieces of steel or not. But I wouldn't feel bad about putting a big strap across there, and that strap being my final weld point, because I have all of these bridges to weld the strap to. But I'm introducing yet another piece of steel that's going to rust. That's about as far as I'm going to get today, because I'm going to have to sit and think about this for a little bit. More thinking off camera. Purr. All right, that's all I got this week. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the videos. I got a special little comedy video coming for next middle of the week. It comes a blast from the way past. Erica and I went on a trip to watch a classmate of hers play football. He was at the Air Force Academy, and we thought he might play, but game day, college game day, ESPN college game day was there. So we went, we made a sign and the whole thing, and we walked around campus, and then we sat and watched Navy play Air Force. Navy won, and he did not get to play. So, but we had fun getting to hang out with his old classmates, because everybody came up for it. And the family had rented a house, so we just hung out with them all night. It was fun for Erica to get to see her friends from school. But on the way back, we were doing some silly stuff in the long drive back from Colorado. So you'll get to see one of the little clips. All right, that's all I got this week. I said that already, so that's all it's going to be. I'm going to sign off really for real this time. All right, like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. All right, let's see if this will go. You ready?
Yep.
All right, let's go.
Kinda. Lucy's excited. Go, Luce. Get it, girl.